And we are back, and oh boy, Light, I gotta tell you, buddy, I think we lucked out here. We lucked out.
Why do we always get the PvPs?
Well,
every single time. But you're right. This is going to be insane. Like, we've had a couple of insane PvPs already on this channel throughout the course of IEM Katowice, but hey,
this
one
is it. The original. I don't want. I'm trying to think of what's a good word that isn't like insulting. The original Madman versus the Heart of the Swarm Madman. No, the original Madman versus the biggest Madman.
Mate, what we're gonna see today is peak PvP.
Peak right? PvP.
That's what we're gonna see today. Oh my god.
Absolute pinnacle of the matchup. Every Protoss player, they want to be tuning in right now to see what they can learn.
Oh my god.
And
we're 10 seconds out.
That we are. I think everybody is eager. The players are eager. The casters are eager. Audience at home is very, very eager.
Mate, I'm eager.
We'll go into it. Oh, you don't even know how eager I am.
Oh my god. Okay. Alright.
We're going into game 1 of the Special Series. We're going into Triton, LE. Oh boy, what is in store for us today?
I don't even know what to expect. I kind of want them to both play standard.
That would subvert our expectations. You just gotta keep the most open mind available. And speaking of open minds, here we have it. The original Madman, the original peak Protoss in StarCraft 2. Here he is. We have spawning in the bottom right-hand corner map, spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Triton, LE. The Red Protoss, member of the Teldarim, if we have anything to go by, as well as representing Team Dragon Phoenix Gaming, DPG. He has come down all the way from Korea. We have PartinG. The big boy.
And in the top left, as well as kind of the bottom right, he has his own nation. He represents the Haitian Republic. We have representing Taiwan as well as J-Team. It is Haas.
The greatest of all time. Peak PvP is what we promised, and peak PvP is what we're gonna get. Already blocked him. Haas did kill the probe, and he's already blocked himself off with pylons. PartinG is actually looking to be in a heck of a lot of trouble.
Yeah, I mean, important to bear note that
PartinG,
he did scout this relatively early. Oh my god, he gets in and he's trying to get the probe. He's trying to get Haas's probe, but...
He's trying to get the probe. He did try to rally that Zealot into where he thought was going to be blocked off, but Haas very brilliantly broke his wall, and he managed to escape with his life. He's pulling a Light right here and stealing one of his opponent's minerals. That's the absolute disrespect.
Yeah, and it's important to note that there is a forge, so it did look like he was trying to get some cannons up, but it did ultimately get denied by PartinG. And
that probe is still alive.
That probe is still alive.
Anything can happen here. There's a fight with the Zealots going on, but both of them are backing off. I think PartinG might be a little bit flustered here. He did not realize that this is what he's gonna have to play against.
Yeah, but it looks like PartinG, he's looking pretty good so far. Like, he's getting his Stalker out, he's getting a shield battery, he's getting his defense set up. Meanwhile, again, those cannons, those pylons were denied in the main of PartinG, and now Haas, I think he may be looking to transition out. Like,
the win was surprisingly very safe from PartinG.
Yeah, like Haas, he was doing something crazy, but like he didn't even know what he was doing. It's like
He did back off from it at the very end. PartinG has already rebuilt whatever he's got.
Yeah, and there's a
He
robo on the way.
Haas's buildings.
Yeah.
The robo is on the way. PartinG is just looking absolutely safe as the game continues.
We do have 2 proxy pylons from both players. Haas with the transition, the Stargate transition, I should say, as he is looking to continue this aggression. Meanwhile, PartinG, he does have a reinforcing gateway across the map as well. Mate, what's gonna happen? Are we gonna end up like in this weird base trade scenario where there's like PartinG has all his stalkers across the map? Yeah, Haas has like oracles across the map.
It's looking like a possibility. PartinG does already have his warp gate just about to be completed. Yep, there we go. Warp gate is done. So this Stargate, I'm not convinced we'll be able to do too much if PartinG reinforces or just warps and stalkers back at home.
Yeah, PartinG trying to be cheeky, sneaking in a pylon, but it does get scattered and denied by Haas. And there we have PartinG with the War Prism on the way, so he is looking to, I guess, you know, elevator in his units into Haas's main base. But
this could actually come back to bite him, as we do see Haas is getting that Oracle down. And in the early game, when there's not a lot of gateways, when there's not a lot of warp-ins, this could actually get a lot of damage if PartinG is not in position to defend against that.
Important to note, PartinG doesn't have enough energy on his Nexus for a recall, so he can't go back home to defend against the Oracle. He's committed to this push, and with this push, he could end the game. But there are cannons in the main base of Haas for defense, as well as shield batteries.
Of course, they're going to have to be very careful. The Oracle comes in without a single thing to defend against it. A couple of Stalkers will be warped in, but not before 7-8 probes.
At the same time, though.
At the same time, PartinG is trying to assert himself into Haas's main. Doesn't even care about the cannon. He is elevatoring every single unit he can.
Yeah, and because of the Warp Prism, he's bypassing the shield battery.
He absolutely is. Sentry has already gone down. There is an Immortal, and PartinG is absolutely going to have to respect that.
Yeah, the Immortal, like, with that, he could potentially push us back, but he's fixing it down, but the shield battery is keeping it alive. Oh my god. He gets the Immortal.
Yeah, he does. Another Immortal is going to be on his way, but PartinG is camping this production. Can he actually depower the Robo? That is something that you'll have to see. PartinG's micro is impeccable as always. And this is looking increasingly dangerous for Haas as it goes down.
That could be it with that Robo depowered. That Immortal isn't on the way anymore, and that could be it. It's all about PartinG's micro now.
Yeah, the probes are trying to get in, trying to get some really good surrounds, but with the Warp Prism, again, the micro potential is nigh infinite.
Oh, is he going to stop it again? Is he going to get the pylon?
He's not going to get it, but he will get this Immortal. The shield battery is out of energy, and this looks to be about it from Haas. Can he hold on? GG is called.
Hey.
And PartinG takes game 1. After what looked to be a very wild opening from Haas, surprisingly backing off from it.
That opening was questionable, to say the least.
It was.
It was crazy, but I guess because PartinG, he did scout it relatively early with his probe, and you know he was able to probe pull and stop the pylons from going up in his main. Once that was done, like he was fine, you know.
I'm still super surprised that Haas canceled his pylons. Maybe he believed correctly that PartinG was rallying in a unit to deal with that probe, but I still think that regardless, he could have tried to keep that pylon wall up, get a couple of cannons maybe. The probe or the Zealot rather, would probably have done a lot of damage to one cannon. It's not going to kill two.
Yeah, and again, it's unfortunate because Haas, he was getting like that defense ready, like he was waiting for it. He had the cannons in his main, he had shield batteries, but they just weren't in the right position. He wasn't ready for that War Prism to come in and elevator in the units. If it wasn't for that, he could have held, like he had an Immortal out, he had a second Immortal on the way. PartinG just hit that right timing before Haas had what he needed. And I didn't really get to see what happened. We didn't get to see what happened to the Oracle. Like after it came in, did it go down to the Stalkers?
It killed a bunch of probes, but I think it did eventually get taken out by the Stalkers. That's what happens when the Stargate is, when you build the Stargate at that stage of the game rather than earlier on when your opponent doesn't have a lot of anti-air potential.
It's definitely hard to say like what the right move was, because the Oracle did deal a bunch of damage, but he did die in the end. Maybe it would have been better to get a Phoenix instead at home to defend first and to deny that War Prism. But at the same time, he didn't have any scouting information. He didn't know that that's what was coming. So it's a hard position to be in.
Speaking of hard positions, Nightshade is going to be our next map. What's it going to be? You know what? We were alluding to it a little bit beforehand. These two players have a reputation of being the craziest of Protoss. Only SOS, I think, is missing from that discussion. But PartinG actually opened up fairly standard. He just had to react to the completely insane opening of Haas. And once he did, he was fine. So will we see a little bit of cheese coming out from PartinG this time?
Yeah, on the previous games that we've casted here today, I imagine he's going to cheese. Like, that's kind of what we've seen happen throughout the day. It's like alternating, whoever wins basically in like a macro game then cheeses the next game or something along those lines. So I imagine we're going to see some aggression coming out from PartinG.
Special kind of did that, but it was also a bit of a fake out.
Yeah, it was a weird like fake out cheese. Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
It didn't even fake him out because it wasn't a scout.
You can't get faked out if you don't scout. Is generally how it goes. All right, our players are ready. Our casters are ready. We have to know, are the viewers ready as we go into our next map?
Yep, we should be starting up fairly soon. There we go. We have the countdown timer. Mate, can Haas bring it back? He hasn't had too much luck so far in this group. He has taken maps, but he hasn't taken a series yet. Will this be his first?
Well, he's going to have to pull off a miracle if he's going to win this map and the map after this. We'll see if it works out. And as we go into it in Nightshade LE, we have here in the top left-hand corner map, spawning in the top left-hand corner of the map, we have the Red Protoss. He's got a reputation behind him. Will he live up to it? Representing Dragon Phoenix Gaming, DPG, as well as the Republic of Korea, we have PartinG. The big boy.
And in the bottom right-hand corner of Nightshade LE, down 1-0 in this series. Can he bring it back? He is the Blue Protoss, representing the Haitian Republic, as well as Taiwan. And J-Team, it is Haas.
There's a probe out. We got eyes on the probe. Here is the probe out. What's he gonna do? The probe is out. What's he looking to do? That's a pylon.
There are probes out. I'm hoping for pylons all over the map. What are we gonna see? I imagine Stargate, maybe, hopefully. I mean,
is it gonna be the good old proxy Robo versus proxy Stargate that we're so
we could see it. We could see it, yeah.
The maddest of the mad.
Does look like both players are currently scouting around for each other's proxies, making sure
they know who they're up against.
Exactly.
That's what happens when you study your opponents.
That's what happens when you have PartinG versus Haas. Like, probes everywhere. Like, oh my god, and there it is.
That's at Robo. PartinG is going to be the first one to throw down the tech.
Yeah.
The probe of Haas barely moved away. No, Haas.
He was going to see it, but then he moved away. Oh god. And as we were saying, like, following the tradition, PartinG, after winning game 1, he's now proxying, right? Like, he's putting on the aggression now. And I don't know if Haas is going to expect this. Like, he hasn't scouted it so far.
He almost did, to be fair.
He almost did.
But just barely missed it. We'll be able to get this block. What a madman. This probe should just about go down, and unfortunately, I don't think that probe will be able to see that PartinG is making a sentry. The sentry is generally one of the tip-offs you can get in a PvP for knowing, okay, something's coming for me.
Oh, but he
Haas
spots it.
scout it. Yep. Now
Is
he
he going to be able
scouts
to
it.
deny the pylon? Okay, he backs off. He's like,
Yep. He doesn't
wanna
want to
risk it.
gamble. Yeah, he doesn't
Exactly.
know how far into the production that Robo or that Immortal is. So he decides the better bet, pool up my forces, make sure that I have a good number. It's better to defend at the natural or the main, where it's a better position.
Yeah, both players actually like gearing up for defense. We've got shield batteries coming down in the main.
I was going for a flank.
Oh, it looks like he's going to go and
going
try.
for the Robo.
Yeah, he is. He'll be able to deny it, and I think he has enough for a recall.
For a little bit.
So he can deny this and then recall.
That warp prism
is so close, though.
It is so close. If PartinG just chrono boost that, he doesn't get the warp prism.
Oh my god! Look how close.
Huge. This is absolutely huge. Haas has just bought himself so much time.
Mate.
Dude. Mate.
Oh my god.
PartinG is bringing in a probe. He does want to get that warp prism out. Haas is starting to get chased back a little bit, and actually these stalkers, I'm not sure if Haas can really afford to lose them this early.
Again, though, these stalkers are buying so much time. They're forcing PartinG all around the map, making sure that, you know, he isn't like applying any pressure at the main of Haas. So in the end, I do feel like it is worth it. And it's looking pretty good for Haas. But again, PartinG, his push is going to be very strong with these Immortals.
It absolutely will. There's that warp prism coming out, already working on his observer. And PartinG is getting his Twilight Council. Haas has moved out with a couple of adepts to try to get some counter damage done. And PartinG is all over on the other side of the map.
Yeah, I'm a little bit worried. Like Haas is being very bold right now. He's moving across the map with the warp prism with these adepts. That it is. So he doesn't have all of his units at home to defend. He's trying to defend with what he has here. And he is getting more shield batteries, which will help, but they're not done just yet.
No, they are not. PartinG is once again giving us quite a bit of a treat. Something that he's kind of known for. Haas is putting on the pressure, though, with his own Immortal Warp Prism. Are there going to be enough stalkers here from PartinG? They do target down the Immortal, but it does get picked up by the Warp Prism. Haas actually keeps everything alive there, but he does lose his gateways.
That he does, and oh my god!
Right now, can you see?
It's a Dark Shrine.
Somebody call Fear Dragon.
Oh my god! Again, like as I was saying, Haas across the map with his Immortal, not at home. Like it was like the correct decision in the end. He didn't need it at home, and he was able to apply that pressure across the map. But
one thing that kind of worries me is he's denying this Robo Bay or Robo Facility, but it seems like PartinG has already moved on from that.
Exactly.
He's on to phase 2.
Haas could be thinking he's more ahead than he actually is. He's like, all right, I've denied this Robo, I've denied the tech, I'm good. But he doesn't know that there is a Dark Shrine on the way, and that could catch him completely off guard. To be fair, he does have an Observer. I think it's still at home. So
I think it is. It will definitely help out quite a bit, especially since Haas is trying to go into his Phoenixes. If he can get a good Phoenix count and get them into good positions, denying this Warp Prism is going to be very, very easy.
Yeah, and Haas, he has to be so careful with that Warp Prism. If it somehow gets picked off by these Stalkers, it could be it. Losing an Immortal as well, like, he has to be so careful with that.
I am just waiting with bated breath. Who will make the first mistake is going to be the question. The DTs are already in the Warp Prism of PartinG. The Phoenix is not quite in place.
Oh.
They're playing Warp Prism Chicken right now. They're going, I'm going to go in. I'm going to go in. Ah, you flinched.
Yeah, and PartinG, he's going down. He's committed to this.
Actually should be fine for Haas. There is that Observer in place.
As long as he reacts in time.
Yeah, he does.
4, 5, 6, 8 workers already.
And that's an owie. That's also a Autosis pylon. And once that gets taken out, that's one of the observers of Haas going down. The recall is in place. One observer, or not observer, sorry, DT of PartinG is getting out. And another one is going to be warped in for them Archons.
again, I'm not too sure who came out ahead on that. 9 workers went down, which is a lot, but PartinG did lose his warp prism in the process. So, you know, in the end,
He's
both
on to
players,
phase 3.
that he is.
He is
Oh
on
my
to phase
god.
3. So many Stalkers from PartinG, but he actually doesn't have Blink. The fight is going on right now. Who is gonna die first? Haas does have the crowd control with these Phoenixes, but
He also
PartinG
has the immortal count.
Micro. He does have the immortal count, actually.
Yeah, the Warrior Bay went down
he?
for PartinG.
Oh yeah, PartinG only has 1 immortal. It's my favorite game to play when casting Light. It's Count the Immortals.
Exactly.
That's 1. Yep.
Yeah, he has not yet rebuilt, but it's important to note that PartinG does have his Nexus up a little bit faster than Haas, so he does have the economy going for him, and oh, he snipes the sentries.
He does snipe the sentries. Glaives are finished for these Adepts, and they're actually targeting down the Immortals. You don't normally think of Adepts killing Immortals, but when you have these many with Glaives, the pressure is being put on to this Nexus. PartinG, I think, can just kill this and back off. A lot of damage being done, though.
Yeah, the counter harassed Haas in the main of PartinG with 2 Immortals, and there's nothing at home for PartinG. He has everything across the map.
He has kept a lot. There's no recall. He used his recall in the DT earlier, if you'll remember.
Oh, that he
Everything
did, yeah.
is depowered. And
Oh
this
my god.
is huge. PartinG has not lost any probes yet, but it looks like he's going to lose so much infrastructure. And these Immortals making out of this alive.
He's forced to bring his entire army back home. You can see everything went back home, and Haas, like, has this room to breathe now, and hopefully take his Nexus.
He does. He's even going into his, not DTs, Disruptors. And that's absolutely what you want when you're facing off this army of PartinG. But in general, I suppose, in PvP, you want to go Disruptors.
Yeah, in general. And we do see that Haas, you know, he's opting not to take his natural. It's looking like he's getting ready for this 1 base push with Disruptors.
Really?
And
is he going to go all in is the question.
Yeah, PartinG, he had an observer on top of the natural, so he may have spotted that that Disruptor. I'm not too sure.
They're trying to meet in the middle of the map, it seems. Unit composition-wise, I would say that Haas is favored, but you do not want to underestimate the micro of PartinG. Without the Warp Prism, though, that's very, very iffy.
Yeah, no Warp Prism. He's down in the immortal count, but he does have quite a large Gateway army.
That indeed he does. He also has so much energy stored up on these sentries. That's a force field going down, and that's another couple. This Purification Nova does not manage to hit anything. And when there are only 2 Disruptors, look at those splits from PartinG, I gotta say.
Yeah, and with that, those 2 Disruptor shots, they're now on cooldown, so now could be an opportunity for PartinG to pounce on this army, but it does look like he's backing off.
He does not want to risk too much. He knows that once those Disruptors come off cooldown, that could absolutely kill him. So many probes are going down from Haas. Is it from... Yep, it's from DT. And again, there is no...
It seems that it was warped in across the map. Yeah, and it just ran in.
Purification Nova, once again, failing to connect with anything. Does get a handful of Zealots there. But those are only Zealots. PartinG is on the... Or Haas, rather, is on the back foot. PartinG is trying to press this.
I feel like this is it. I feel like, especially because Haas lost all of those workers, I feel like he's going to be all in, and he has to win with this army.
I was going to say that, absolutely. Look at that Disruptor shot, though. And that does actually get a lot. This other Purification Nova gets even more. PartinG not quite microing to the standard that you normally expect from him.
I mean, it's hard. Like, he doesn't have Blink or anything of the sort, and he mainly has Adepts.
It really is. This Shade 4, though, that could absolutely cripple Kaz. He does not commit just yet. I think he wants to bait Purification Novas.
I don't know if that's the right call. Oh my god!
Once again, even more army is going down from PartinG, and even more does manage to save a couple of units with his Warp Prism, but will it be enough? The scales have just tipped so far into Haas's favor now.
I think the Disruptors, the shots were too much. Like, he's done it.
I think they absolutely were. The shield battery is out of energy. GG is called. And we are going into the ace match. Can you believe it, Light?
No. I can't believe it. Oh my god. Like, PartinG was looking so good, even though, like, all this harass was happening in his main. Like, he had his Nexus up. He was dealing all this harassing damage with the DTs. Like, he was looking so good. The only downside was he didn't have a Robo, right? He was down in that tech. And it was, in the end, it was the Disruptors. Like,
That was the real MVP.
MVP.
I cannot
Oh my
believe it.
God.
Like, PartinG, the game was absolutely into his hands. He just needed to not throw, essentially, just play defensively from there on. But he didn't. PartinG was doing PartinG things, as we sometimes say. And Haas takes it to the ace match. What a game.
Of course, like, props to Haas, right? Like, even though all of this damage was being dealt to him, like, he stuck through it, and he did the best that he could with what he had, and he was able to clutch it out. Like, Haas played that out very well.
I think we're looking at the Disruptors as the MVPs of that game. The War Prism, actually, with the Immortals, managed to catch PartinG off guard a couple of times, quite a few times even.
Yeah. If they didn't force PartinG back home, like, he potentially could have continued to pressure and win the game. Like, Haas, his multi-prong attacks were doing actually extremely well. Like, and it all started in the beginning. Remember when his Stalkers they circled around and they were able to deny the Warp Prism from coming out. Like,
I think it all does come down to that. That was the butterfly effect, or the domino effect. Haas just bought so much time there. And it adds up. I tell you, time does in fact add up. He's not playing though, unfortunately.
Time is not playing. All right, getting into game number 3.
The ace match, the final match of the series. What is going to go on? And speaking about what is going to go on, here we have it. In the top left-hand corner of the map, spawning in the top left-hand corner of Ephemeron LE. We have the blue Protoss this time. Man, everybody counted him out, and I think he is still a bit of an underdog in this respect, but he is showing that he can take maps for the top players. Representing the Asian Republic, the Republic of China, otherwise known as Taiwan, as well as J-Team, we have Haas. The greatest of all time, according to his papa.
And in the bottom right, representing Korea, it is the Red Zerg from Dragon Phoenix Gaming, DPG. We have PartinG. Mate.
Zerg?
Did I say Zerg?
I'm pretty sure you said Zerg.
Protoss, I mean.
I am glad that you got to get the G intro at least once tonight.
Yeah, it's all good. Those who don't know, there are a lot of Chinese teams that have that kind of like 3-letter initial system going on.
Yep.
It's pretty
always good. Your final. Oh, PartinG does not actually scout anything yet.
Oh.
This is his own pylon. But Haas does. Hello, PartinG. What are you up to, my opponent?
Okay. Bearing in mind that we do have 2 pylons out on the map, 1 from each player, but so far, nothing too crazy happening. As Haas did scout that one.
No, he did not. Actually, yes, he did. For some reason, I was thinking PartinG. I was like, no, PartinG didn't scout Haas's pylon. What are you talking about?
Yeah, and I do feel like PartinG was probably planning something with it. It is a very forward pylon, pretty aggressively placed. And now that it was scouted immediately, like...
Will we see Stalker aggression, is what I'm suspecting.
Oh.
Because it seems like both players kind of are going into a more standard game. Nope, never mind. PartinG is going for 2 sentries after his initial Stalkers.
Mm-hmm. Looking to be a little bit more defensive, you know, going to get some scouting information, going to have the ability to force field as well. And
that's just covering all your bases, yeah. If you need to be on the offense or on the defense. Finally, we're finally getting a game light where both players are kind of mirroring each other. A couple of slight differences, but for the most part, PartinG's going for Stalker Sentry Robo, as is Haas.
yeah. Great minds think alike. Somehow these two crazy Protoss players are doing the exact same thing. They've both decided to play it out like in a more standard style, going for their nexuses, nothing really proxied. Potentially PartinG was planning to proxy something, but you know,
or potentially Haas still can proxy something. I'm holding my breath. I'm hoping it's a Dark Shrine, but it's actually the Robo facility. Whoa, alrighty then. That's interesting.
You don't see that every day.
No, you do not. I have to wonder. It's got to be disruptors, right?
I was like waiting for a Robo or a Gateway or a Stargate. I was not expecting that.
Twilight Council.
Like
I was
anything.
proxy Twilight Council into a DT shrine or Dark Shrine, but no.
Exactly.
Robo Bay. It's got to be disruptors, right?
Oh yeah, 100%. It's got to be disruptors. I don't think we're going to see like
Colossus.
A Colossus drop. I don't know about that one.
No, not when there's this much anti-air.
But disruptor drops
remember,
though.
with disruptors, you can drop the disruptor, shoot the purification over, and back off. With the Colossus, you do have to keep the Warp Prism in position a little while more.
Yes, and there we have it.
Vulnerable.
Yep, disruptor on the way. The Warp Prism is done. It did get scattered, but again, like PartinG might not think that there's anything too crazy going on, and the disruptor can be used defensively as well. There is no blink for these units.
He might just think the standard Immortal drop. He might just think the standard Adept drop. I don't know.
Yeah.
But PartinG is actually the first one to try to assert himself, isolates these Stalkers, and will pick them off for basically free. And he sees the disruptor now.
Oh, does save his sentries, and yeah, Haas's hand does get revealed, and I don't know if this is gonna work out too well for him. There are force fields coming down from both players.
Micro better. And honestly, Light, when it comes to that, I generally have my money on PartinG. But Haas is trying to sneak through. He does have his disruptor in that Warp Prism. He's trying to sneak through enemy lines.
Yeah, again, Haas risking a little bit, leaving himself a little bit, you know, not defenseless, but not as much as he's going across the map with his disruptor. Well, PartinG will spot it though.
Catches out. But there's not enough firepower here.
Oh no!
Haas actually drops it to pick off a Stalker.
Yeah, a little bit wasted.
That's kind of free. It is a wasted opportunity, but it's actually kind of free.
Yeah, I think that
he got that Stalker for free.
I think he didn't have much faith in the main being safe. I think maybe he thought there were already units there waiting for him, so he decided to get something instead of nothing. But yeah, the main was completely open. Like there was so much opportunity for drone damage there, and instead PartinG dropped the main of Haas and killed a couple of drones.
Speaking of mains,
workers.
Haas is trying to multitask here, as is PartinG. Very good force fields, manages to keep off so many units from Haas. The Adepts, I'm not sure if they're going to be enough. The Purification Nova does not manage to go off. Very nice CC with the Phoenix, and that Disruptor does get sniped once again. There is another Purification Nova going down, but once again, a little bit wasted. Haas, he has to defend from so many places.
Yeah, Haas's micro just hasn't been on point. Like, he hasn't been able to get any good Purification hits, and the Warp Prism goes down, and with these shield batteries, PartinG should be able to push this away. At the same time, he's getting worker kills at home.
This Nexus is being under siege right now, picks up a pylon, and if PartinG can just continue to get this infrastructure damage, you know, defend against whatever Haas throws at him, and as you've seen, he has defended brilliantly. I don't see a situation unless PartinG throws, which, going off of last game, I think might be likely.
It is possible, but there it is.
Come on, phone. The big boy flexes his muscle, that muscle being his brain. I'm still shaking a little bit, like those last two games in particular. That is the seat of adrenaline. Or the height of adrenaline. That was peak PvP.
PartinG asserting his dominance. Unlike game number 2, game number 3, PartinG, he was looking on point. And again, it also kind of on Haas as well. Like his disruptor shots just weren't hitting the mark at all. Going off a little bit early in some cases, and he didn't really manage to deal much damage with them at all.
I believe it now. I believe it now when people were saying Haas is actually looking a lot better than he was. Even better than his WCS Valencia run, actually, which, if you'll remember, was the first time he made it to a finals of a premier event. And he's looking even better now.
Yeah, especially game 2. Like Haas was looking really good in game 2. Like he was so impressive in that game. A little bit unfortunate that game 3 didn't showcase it as well. Like it was a good strategy. Like he hid that Robo Bay, and he was going for something like out of the norm that could have potentially caught PartinG completely off guard. But he was forced to drop them in the middle of the map. He was forced to reveal them, and things just didn't go his way.
Such is life. But if there's anything to take out of this, the future is looking pretty bright for the Haitian Republic. Speaking of which, our next match will actually give him the opportunity to show us even more of that. And I think that will be the real test for Haas.
Yeah. So our next match, our next series, we will follow Haas, and we will actually have Dark versus Haas in a ZVP.
Stay tuned for that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, to be fair, I haven't seen much of Haas's PvC, but I'm feeling a little bit worried for him. I feel like
it is the official world champion coming off his BlizzCon.
It is. To be fair, he did recently lose to PartinG just earlier today. So who knows?
Who knows? All right, stay tuned for that. It might potentially be the final series that we cast. Depends on how round 5 goes. But do stay tuned regardless. Catch you after the break.